Hello everyone, welcome to week 4. This is Professor Moore, or Carl, I wanted to just give you a quick video. Hopefully I'm going to keep this under 10 minutes. There's an updated syllabus in PDF and Word doc form there. As you can see, we have come through understanding prior knowledge and what students walk into the classroom with in terms of their mental constructs and these stockpiles of knowledge that they have, and how that can be accurate, insufficient, what do you call it? Accurate but not appropriate for the learning context, etc. All that we've learned about prior knowledge, and then how students organize knowledge, and that impacts learners. So no matter the classroom, you have students that come in just like the fish, right? That can make their mental models of the world based off of what they've learned already. So that's really important. And then we got into last week, where we discussed, well, I guess the week after that, where we discussed a little bit about motivation, and how you as a teacher have the ability and the agency to impact a student and learner's motivation as it relates to them feeling supported, them feeling like they can do it, and them having value of the content. You turn in your teaching philosophy statements, which you're all getting feedback about right now. Then we had a virtual meeting, and we did a little bit of the motivation piece, but we also went into a little bit of the adult metacognition, adult development metacognition. But one thing just to kind of highlight about that is, remember our group quiz, we talked about the different levels of cognitive complexity that a person can have. And one thing to note about that I didn't maybe underscore enough then is that it doesn't matter what your age is. Some people still feel dualistic, or they may not be as cognitively or intellectually agile with certain topics, because they may just have such a fixed view, which sometimes those words get their connotation has negative or positive or whatever. But I'm just saying in terms of it being dualistic and fixed versus a more relativistic, or moving beyond to being committed to certain thoughts, but being able to be objective and perspective take, etc. So that's what we understand in terms of our learners. Now that you're turning in a learning goals worksheet this week, which is great, and you've read Fink's Significant Course Design, and hopefully the video that I post for you with this will also, that I'm sending with this video about that, helps you understand a little bit more of what Fink is getting at, and really thinking of how can we design learning experiences so that students 10, 20 years down the road actually had more than just a cognitive, I intellectually stored this stuff in my brain, but that they're able to leave having a significant learning experience. And yeah, that's where we are. So then next week, you're going to be doing a blog again, and you're going to be starting in groups for this blog. So I'm going to cover that really quickly for you, and then I'm going to cover some other things. So you're all going to be in groups now for the blogs, like learning clusters. I talked about this earlier in the course, because I wanted us to start off together, and now we're funneling it down. And these groups are going to be your groups that you really go into a lot of deeper conversation of the content and get feedback on some of your future assignments and things of that sort. So we have Galto, Jacobson, Mira, Paoli, Sneed, Fargo, and then that's group 1. Then we have Fargo, Paxtis, Trano, Trexler is group 2, and then Burkitt, Uri, Morgan, Moss, Velasco, and that's another group. And then we have Amenta, Carr, King, and Messler. So those are your groups. Those will also be in this, they're in the list in this email. So when doing the blogs for now, what you're going to do is you're going to click on the blog, and you'll see, let me hurry up and do this. So as you can see, starting with the next blog on grading, what you would do usually, but I've done this for you right now, is you would copy this blog, the prompt, and then you go down here to the bottom, and you see weekly discussion groups. So you go down, and you see your group. Remember the groups I just listed for you, groups 1, 2, and 3, and 4. You'll see that in the email. So if you're in group 1, you would go here, and you would go to Campus Blog Pack is what you want to go to. And then you would add an entry like this, and you would do this and paste it and then post. And I'm not going to do it because I've already done that. And then you'll see this. Now, when you see this, what another person can do when they're looking at this is they click on it and they can make comments. So then when a person makes comments, the other person can, and then so on and so on, as you all have been doing. So that's pretty much what we're going to do for now on as it relates to the blogs. There are also other group tools that you all can use in here. Like there's a file exchange, wiki, all these other kinds of things. You may want to work on the case study assignment that's due at the end of the course with your group. I'll let you all turn them in by group, which is totally fine. But those are things we can talk about in class. So let's go back to the syllabus. So we talked about, so I just exposed you to the fact that moving forward for the last 5 blogs, as I designed, they're going to be in your groups. So next thing is a sample assignment is due. Now the best way to explain a sample assignment is that you are turning in an assignment that you would choosing. So what you want to do is select a class, and if you're not teaching, you can choose something that you would teach, and think of an assignment that you would have students do. Now think about this. Just think, those learning goals that you just created, those learning goals can be met by assignments, right? The ones that you're doing for this week. So think of that, and then what you're going to do is you're going to develop an assignment. Now, if you look at the assignments that you have for this class, all of these are samples of assignment descriptions. So like if you look at the teaching, let me see if this will open for me. Yeah, here we go. Oops, I didn't mean for it to do that, but that's fine. If you look at this, although this is a teaching philosophy assignment, it has a description, it has like some clear guidelines, and it has a rubric. So what you want to do is you want to build an assignment that can pretty much give you that same information. Now, when you turn in your final one, it's going to need a rubric, but for your initial assignment that you turn in, if you don't quite want to flex your muscles with the rubric yet, you don't have to, but sometimes it helps people just to, so I've had some folks turn in a very shorter version of this, and in their rubric it explains enough. So please feel free to email me any questions about that, but I want you to start thinking about making all this concrete, all that we're learning. So that's for that. So let's go back to the course syllabus and the grid here. So we have this. You're turning in a learning goal worksheet. Now for this week, and I apologize for doing this out of order. When you turn in your learning goals worksheet, please just send me an email. And I would like if you save your last name dot learning goals worksheet. That'll be fine. But you'll have that in email as well, in case you don't remember that. So you see all these blogs are due, blogs, and then you have some other stuff. So feel free to think about the entire semester. You're going to turn in your final teaching philosophy there. We're going to have micro teaching video that's due, the assignment that's aligned with your learning goals, which is pretty much what you're doing a sample of already. You're going to have a case study response paper, and then a lesson plan. So that is what we're doing for the remainder of the course. I'm about at 8 minutes, so I don't want to take too much more time. I wanted to highlight that, and that's what you are going to be doing for the remainder. Now, I want to go here and show you that I really appreciate the feedback that you all have been giving each other thus far. Everyone hasn't done all theirs yet, but as you can see, the reviewer number and then the feedback. Now, when giving, this is not an assignment on how to give feedback, so I'm not going to be a stickler about your feedback. It's just a matter of you doing it because it's more about you all growing and learning through the process. But just as from an instructor's perspective, when giving feedback, you want to be constructive, which means in the highlighting, you can be very specific as to what they're doing, right? So that's why track changes helps, or doing it in this kind of way. And then you want to be constructive in that you want it to be where you're asking them to do something that can be measurable. I always think it's good to be polite and when you're doing it as well. I think you all have been doing good so far. It's kind of like, you sandwich information. You want to say something nice, all that good stuff. So I don't want to give too much of a flow on how to give feedback, but I do have lots of materials on how to give feedback. But this is more an assignment of you all kind of giving each other feedback to be helpful versus being something that is about you developing these muscles for feedback, because we have so much to do in this class, and that's just not what we're focusing on for this assignment. So as you can see, more people. So this person put reviewer 11, and they put theirs. So as you can see from this past one, like it'll show anonymous if you're in a different browser, and that pretty much means us copying the link to the thingy. And this browser that I'm in right here is, I think this is Chrome. But if I were to open up a completely different browser of like what is this? And this is something I was working on earlier with colleagues. This browser right here, of this is Safari, and paste that same link in this browser, I, even myself, then show up. Well, I don't show up anonymous because I'm logged in as my as my job's email on this browser. But if you've never logged in that other browser, now some of you may be thinking, "Oh man, why am I not anonymous?" You can even sign out, and then I will leave you anonymous. But I know it's easier said than done. So if you don't mind people knowing who you are, then it's fine, and you can just continue to roll like that. So that's giving feedback here. We've done this. Oh, I think that these are all things I wanted to cover. So just know that those were due. Hopefully you'll have them done by the next time we're in class. All the feedback, and yeah, just the blogs are going well so far. I wanted to comment, but I don't want to make this video too long because I'm at 11 minutes. But I have to send out a different video about the blogs. I just don't want to send you all too much extra stuff to watch because you have to read, and as you can see, I've been making it I want to make it reasonable for you all, but I'll just carve out some time to talk about the blogs in our next class because they've been really rich and awesome so far. So, all right, hopefully it's helpful to you, and hopefully you all having a good week. All right, bye-bye.